What's going on, everybody? I'm Kevin from Cigar Prop, and if you were Googling around YouTube searching for epoxy mold making stuff and you come across this weird cigar channel, don't go anyplace, because you're in the right place. Alright, so we're back with another tutorial. We're using the WiseBond Deep Pour Epoxy. It's a 2-to-1 epoxy, and the reason I am in love with this epoxy is because I mixed this up 10 or 15 minutes ago. You can see it's still runny, and this can sit here for the next 4 hours and I can still work with it. That's why I love it. You can mix up a bunch of colors. You don't have any time constraints. That's why I absolutely love it. So what we're doing today, I was looking for some new molds, some new ideas on Amazon for just pouring epoxy in, and I come across soap molds. So soap molds are pretty cool, and that's what we've used. We've got some soap molds laying around here that we've used before. I've seen those, or I use those in past videos. Just look up the playlist with the epoxy pouring, and you'll see those videos. But I come across like these clear soaps that had all these little marbles of soap inside of it. I'm like, how the hell did they do that? So looking around, and I found these cool ice cube tray molds, and they make round little balls of ice cube, and it's actually that lip tucks under it, so when you pop out the ice cube or soap, it just has a little flat spot on there. And I'm like, oh, how super cool is that? And we shouldn't need to use any mold release or anything else, because it's very similar to these other ice cube trays molds that we use, and they just pop right out. So we're gonna go ahead and fill these up. I still don't know what we're gonna do with them yet, but we're gonna make them first and find out if you can actually pour epoxy in there and then pop them out. So that'll be the tricky part. I was thinking about how to get them in there, and I really didn't want to pour the epoxy over it. So I went and I got some of these syringes that I keep laying around. These are just cheap syringes I got on Amazon. And what I did was I just cut the tip of it off, so I should be able to suck up the epoxy and then place it in each hole. So we went ahead and I just chose 2 colors. We did the WiseBond Purple Rain and the WiseBond Moonlight Night, so which is an uber dark black. So we're gonna just go ahead and pour these up and kind of see how this works. So let me reposition the camera so you can see what we're doing here. All right, so you may hear some people in the background. Like I said, I got some construction going on my house, so that's what that noises are that you're hearing. So, all right, so we've got our 2 color choices here. So, and I just filled up on the 2-to-1. I just did a 5 on the 2-to-1, mixed it all up, and then split the container. I don't know how much I'm gonna need. So, so let's push this down and let's see. All right, so we got that filled. So let's see if this is a little much. So you got to be real careful or it overflows like that first one did. But it looks like if you're careful, you can get about 4 little balls or 1 row. Now, I don't know, hopefully that'll all settle down there. Yeah, that's so I don't know. Maybe I'll have to wait a little while and then maybe scrape that off since we have a little bit of time. Maybe that's what we'll do. I just got to be a little bit more gentle. I think these things are kind of, well, this isn't what they're for. So maybe if I can find a different type of syringe. I think as long as I'm careful, this will be, looks like when you get down towards the end, that's where it becomes a little bit more like rushed. So I think that's what, is try not to go all the way to the end. So maybe I'll pour one and then go back in and top these off. Well, that is a little bit tricky. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, so let's grab another syringe and another paper towel. All right, so we got those. I got a little bit of, all right, so now I know, much less epoxy. Luckily I've got another project that I got to do, so I will definitely use up the rest of that right away. And I could try and clean these, but bags of these are so inexpensive that I'll probably just throw them away. I know a little acetone and then back and forth, but I don't know. For the price of them, it doesn't seem worth it. Let me check. Oh, that black was I got a little bit low on a couple of those. All right, so that is it. I don't know how long to leave these for. Now, when I use the same epoxy in these molds, I can pop them out overnight, usually after about 12 to 15 hours. And they are still a little soft, a little pliable, but I'm always in a rush to pop them out to see what they look like. These are smaller, so I don't know how long these are gonna take. So I'll probably, well, not probably, I'll be 100% honest with you, in about 12 hours I'm leaving town for 4 days. So it's going to be a few days that these are in here. So they should be nice and rock hard. If you do this, yeah, you're probably saying, hey Kevin, that's kind of bogus there. I need to know whether we can do these out the next day. So what I'll do before I leave for the airport around 3 a.m., maybe I'll try and pop one out just to see how it's going. They should be pretty well solidified, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to come out of there. I may have to throw the whole thing away, but I don't know. If you're actually watching this online, that means this process worked, and it's going to be cool. So I'll try that tomorrow morning before I leave. Pop one out. That way, when I come back in a few days, I can let you know, hey, I tried one the next morning. It didn't work. But after a few days, these will be rock hard like glass. Not fragile like glass, just rock hard like rocks, not glass. And they'll definitely pop out somehow. I don't know if it'll destroy the mold, but we're gonna find out, me and you. These molds I got on Amazon, $9 for Prime, so it came with free shipping. So realistically for me, push comes to shove and I gotta destroy this whole mold to get all those out. That $9, depending on how many blanks I get with these little marbles, that might be enough just to factor that into the cost of the blank. Since nobody else is really making blanks like that, you can ask a little bit more. So I don't know, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So we're gonna go ahead and leave it at that. We're gonna let this sit for a few days, and we'll see. For you, it'll be back instantly, but for me, it's gonna be a few more days. So we'll see you later on. All right, I'm back from a short little vacation, a short little trip to New Orleans, and as soon as I got back, it was late Sunday night, and instantly got in the garage. I'm like, oh, I gotta see how everything turned out. I am blown away. How super cool. And so we had our little Dippin' Dots, I guess, and they just pop right out. They just pop right out. So cool. I mean, look at these. They're little balls of epoxy. Now they do have a little flat spot on them. So, but they're balls of epoxy. How cool is that? Now, a few of them, they were the ones that we overflowed, and you can see that they all, they popped out together. So they made a little thing like that, which is. And I'm like, all right, so maybe I'll just be able to, whoop. Okay, hold on. Any of you parents out there, you'll know, that when a ball starts bouncing, you either get it or you'll slip on it in the middle of the night. So I was hoping it would, all of it would snap off, but you still leave a little bit. But then I got to be thinking like, who really cares if you leave it that way and there's just a little bit on there? Because with the WiseBond Deep Pour Epoxy sticks to epoxy. Once you pour more epoxy on this, it's not going to really make a difference. It's essentially going to disappear. Well, actually, no, it won't, because I'm going to pour this with a clear epoxy, so you'll still be able to see the purple a little bit. Maybe when you're turning it, I don't know. But then I was thinking, because I'm going to fill up a mold like this with just a bunch of these, and then pour some clear into it, and then see how it turns out. But I thought, what would be cool is if you actually poured, like 2 or 3 rows, over poured them to where they all poured together. That would actually, if you wanted to do a cool design, it would be easier if they were all stuck together. Then you could, if you wanted to put a little piece of tape and tape them to your mold, they're guaranteed not to float. Now these, I don't know what's going to happen when we pour epoxy in here. I'm thinking what I'll do is mix up the clear, let it sit for a few hours until it's really like a jelly, almost like a jelly, maybe a syrup, and then push them in, and hopefully the epoxy will hold them and grab them without them floating. So I think I'm going to do that. But then what Jessica, my wife, had mentioned, she goes, wouldn't it be cool if you did half and half the colors, or even if you blended them? You could pour a little bit in each one, let it harden, and then pour a little bit more in each one so the color is separated, and then you would have a half-half. Or she said you could pour a little bit and then wait till they're taxi and mix it with a toothpick, and you could get some cool swirls and tie-dyed little marbles. And I'm like, nobody has time. Well, I don't have time for that. So I kind of wish now, I didn't know that this would work. I really didn't think this was going to work. I wish I'd have done more colors now, because this is going to be super cool. I only did black and purple, and it's going to be super awesome. I don't know how many these are going to fill up with. Let's see. I don't know, there's not quite enough. Let me see what they look like. So I think I'll do a smaller, this mold only holds 2 pen blanks. So maybe I'll do this one. And then I don't know, it's kind of cool, and I'm just gonna fill it up with clear and then see how it turns out. I'm kind of stoked. I don't know. I'm just giddy because I've never seen this done before, and I don't know. And I've been searching around. Maybe someone has done it, but as far as I know, nobody has done it before. So I am going to, hopefully nobody texts me again. Turn off my phone here. But I'm gonna go ahead and pour this up with some clear, and then well, actually I'm gonna mix up some clear. I'll let it sit for a couple hours, and then all right, that was my wife on the phone. I couldn't ignore that one. So yeah, so I'm gonna mix up some epoxy clear. We'll come back in a couple hours. I'll show you how I pour it in. We'll see if they float or not. The good thing about this smaller mold, which is good, I'll be able to tape down using some house wrap tape, so they won't float. So that's probably a better idea. So I can wrap it over so if they do float. But I don't know if they're going to or not. So let's find that out together here in a couple of hours. All right, we're back. It's a good thing we're using WiseBond Epoxy. I completely spaced and set my timer, and I was editing another video, and it's been like over 4 hours. And luckily enough, it's still pretty. I mean, you can see the consistency of it. It's a lot thicker, but it's still pourable. You can see some more colors in the back. I'm working on another project, and it actually started to thicken at the bottom. So now that I'm stirring everything up, I can feel this jar getting hot. So let's get this, let me zoom in here real quick. All right, hopefully none of this stuff floats. Let's see, looks like that's self-leveling pretty good. I can see the air bubbles coming up, which is fine because those air bubbles will still stay, rising, as long as it's not like a, super jam consistency. But I like those, and it looks good. All right, so we're gonna let that harden, and I'm kind of stoked to see how it turns out, and then to see how it turns out. So cut it out. So all right, let's let this sit for a day, and then break it apart tomorrow. All right, and we're back. All right, the tarps. I'm getting ready to do some turning. I'm actually filming 2 separate videos at the same time. So, and they'll be uploaded at the exact same time also. So you'll kind of notice the same outfit and everything else. Notice the blue tarps. Now, if you're like me, I don't have a dedicated office space or workspace where I can just let the chips fly. This is my garage. This is my film studio. My washer and dryer is back there. So basically what I do, I just take some of these cheap tarps, the plastic clamps, I clamp them to the garage door. Now, when I'm not filming and I'm just turning, I'll actually put 2, and then I'll make a little bit of a space. Usually the garage is all the way up, so the chips only have this to land. Take the tarps down, vacuum up, everything, because these chips will get everywhere. So a little bit of a tidbit of advice for you. All right, so we got the little marbles out of the mold, and I never thought about it, and I made a mistake, but it might be a cool mistake. As you can see, they're kind of in there. They're kind of cool. I just piled them on top. I'll just run them through the table saw and knock those off, and then cut the blanks in half. But you can see it's hazy in there. because those are millions and millions of tiny air bubbles. The last time we did a video, we did a bunch of confetti. We did all the shavings. And I really didn't have a problem with air bubbles. They had a few, but the guys had told me that I should have added the product to the jar. So we had our mixing jar. I should have added all of the beads to that, you know, once everything got stirred up a little bit, and then allowed time for the air to rise, maybe occasionally stirring, allowing that air to rise, and then pouring them in, because obviously when all the beads are in there, those air bubbles are coming up, and if they don't have anywhere to go, they'll get trapped, which is what happened with this one. But I think it's so dense with air bubbles, I think that's going to be awesome when I turn that down. So this is still a little pliable since I took it out of the mold. So we're going to go ahead and just let this sit, probably be a couple days before I get back and cut this up. But we're going to cut it, drill it, and turn it. So you'll get to see what the final product is going to be. So sit right back, and we'll be back when we're back. All right, and we're back. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a month since you've seen me last. A legit month. Things have just exploded. I got things in the works. It's just been crazy, but I got a ton of turning to do today. Big project for a company. So I'm like, all right, let me go grab those little epoxy balls and get those turning. So I had to actually go back and watch some of my old footage to see where we're at. So we got everything, I believe, if I remember even right from watching it an hour ago, we got everything cut up. These are the blanks. And I know we had a little bit of problem with the air bubbles in here. So I think that was from letting it go like 5 hours or whatever. I probably should have poured a little sooner, so when the epoxy was a little runnier maybe. And then that would have allowed the air bubbles to escape instead of just pouring it so thick. But when I turned it down, I can't feel the air bubbles, but that's kind of what we got going on here. If I'd have known it was that cool, I definitely would have painted the tube. You can see the tube inside of it, but that's what we got. I don't know if it'll focus, and you can see just all the air bubbles inside there, but it's kind of cool. So I don't know, I'm digging it. It just it's just a way of thinking outside the box, thinking different molds. When you're seeing things, always be thinking wood turning, epoxy turning, like what can I do with this? So I love it. I love these. For what I do, I'll have to try and see if they have smaller ones. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I'll have to go back. It's been like 6 weeks since I bought that mold and found those little round soap molds. But if I'm not mistaken, they had smaller ones. But I think if you can get smaller ones, I'll hunt around and I'll look. I'll put in the description below. I'll put the mold I got, and then I'll hunt back. I know I got on Amazon. I'll hunt down and see if they have smaller ones. Like, I'll put the sizes. So I'll put the size that I used. So say it's, I don't know, 3/4, 3/8, whatever it is. So you'll know what I used. And then maybe I'll try and put them in descending order if I find some smaller ones. But I love it. It's awesome. I cannot believe that this actually worked. And I just hope it opens up a new realm of possibilities for all you pen turners out there. All of you people that just turn everything. Larger stuff you do like bottle stoppers. Even people that do the bowls, vases, lamps. This is badass. Like I said, I wish I had painted my tubes, and I wish I had got some different. I didn't think it was going to turn out. The purple and black, green and black would have been definitely great opposing colors. But whatever, proof of concept. I'll throw this on. Actually, I'm not. I'll just give it away to somebody, and one of my regular customers, they'll dig it. So, all right, cats and kittens. Like I said, down below will be. I use WiseBond Epoxy. I'll leave a coupon code down below. That WiseBond just passes along to anybody that watches my videos. So super cool. And I'll leave a list of everything that I use down below. So check it out, and we'll see you next time.